After losing everything I own to the 2019 bushfires in Australia, I've rebuilt my life and plan on travelling to every continent with my Africa twin. Join me on this adventure as I rise from the ashes of my former life. G'day folks, welcome back. My name's Simon. If you happen to be new here, this channel is all about motorcycles, adventure, camping and touring. And we're currently in Warrnambool in Victoria. And just going to have a quick spin around here because I believe it's quite a beautiful little town. I mean, look at this beautiful church. That was all lit up last night and it looked fantastic. I got one picture that might be okay, so I'll put that up later. Some beautiful old buildings. So anyway, my cousin used to live here. Don't know what part of Warrnambool it was. And I think she's better because I didn't get down here to visit while she was living here before she moved back to the UK, which is a shame. I wanted to come down and visit, but I was living in Alice Springs and then I was living in Grafton, both of which are, you know, like 2,000 kilometres to travel to here. So, yeah, a long way. And actually, I might just duck into the servo here, top up the tank, grab some drinks. Might be a good idea. So anyway, it's a shame I never got to come down and visit. Sorry, Lauren. Anyway, let's do this. Okay, so fuel done. And it wasn't a bad price. It was like $2.06 per litre for 98 unleaded. So we have a nice full tank of 98 now. So anyway, we're not going far. About 20 minutes down the road is Port Fairy. And I was saying yesterday that my hosts from Seacroft Lodge down on the Great Ocean Road said, oh, you should go there if you like, you know, old historical buildings and stuff. They said basically everything there is made out of sandstone. And in this part of Victoria, considering all the forests around, sandstone buildings are not quite so common because there was a lot more wooden buildings made, you know. Port Fairy, the world's most livable community. Home of the Port Fairy Folk Festival. It sounds like the sort of place to have folk festivals. I like that. Yeah, maybe somewhere on my travels around this big, wide, beautiful land of ours, I might actually find somewhere I want to live again. Might find somewhere to call home, someone to cuddle up to, you know, all the things in life. That would be kind of nice. Alright, let's put that up a bit higher so it's not going to get the windscreen in the way when we see buildings on both sides. Dublin House, 1855. Lovely. It is a pretty little place, I'll give it that. The Caledonian Inn. Oh, look at the old pub up here as well. Lots of beautiful old buildings. Bakery, good stuff. We like bakeries. Oh wow. We'll go along the main drag here as well. Lecture hall. Library. Yes, it is a very pretty little town. I'll give it that. And it's still got these beautiful big trees. Oh, look at this. This must be the post office at a guess. No. I think it was the post office at one point. Seacombe House. Motor Inn and cottages. Beautiful. Yeah, I love these gorgeous trees. I don't know what sort of trees they are. Are they Norfolk pines? I don't know. Ah, that squealing is really getting to me. So I had the rear brake pads changed, and yeah, these ones squeal like all shit. I might have to get them changed again because I'm not putting up with that any longer. It's really getting annoying. The front brake pads will need to be changed very shortly as well, but what a pretty little place. I mean, look at these buildings. Wow. Some of this is really quite old. So far, I must say that I'm actually quite taken with Port Fairy. It's such a pretty little place. The interesting thing about it is that some of these buildings, date back to like 1847. So the Stag Inn, which is currently Seacombe House Hotel, was built in 1847 by Captain John Sanders, and basically looks very much like what it did when it first opened. Prior to British colonisation in the 19th century, though, the Port Fairy area was known as Pipkill or Umut, and inhabited by the Pipkill Gunditj clan, also known as Yarra Gunditj. So, yeah, absolutely gorgeous little area. In the 19th century, though, it was inhabited by a lot of whalers and seal hunters using the coast here. And the crew of the sealing cutter the Fairy by Captain James Wishart reportedly gave the bay its name in 1828. I'm just sitting here looking at the colour of this water. It's this iridescent colour. It's really pretty. Anyway, it's time for me to leave Port Fairy and start heading towards Ballarat, because there's things I can do up there tomorrow, like hopefully visit the Eureka Stockade Museum. So I plotted my route in onto the TwatNav, and we'll see what it manages to come up with for me. I'm happy to go up there in one go if it means that I avoid having to ride in, really bad weather, and just generally be miserable and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to see how we go. We've got 206 kilometres to travel, and according to the TwatNav, I should arrive at about 4:15 or 4:20. It's 1:45 now, so 2 hours 40 minutes to do 206 kilometres. Wow. Unfortunately, there is a few spits of rain coming down right now, which is, not something I really wanted, but hey, cope with it, we'll deal with it. Should be fine. I haven't booked my accommodation for tonight yet because I'd like to survey a couple of the places up in Ballarat first. Once Honda has assessed my bike, this is the stupid thing about it. This is the bit that annoys me the most, is that Honda must assess my bike. I have all the video evidence of this thing doing crazy stuff. You know, this screen. I have evidence of the fact that my crankcase is leaking again. There's nothing to assess. I can provide all the evidence by email with a link to my Google Drive account so they can watch the videos. But no, Honda Australia. No, we must assess the bike at a Honda dealer in order to make the warranty claim. Yeah, okay. Why? I don't get that. I mean, how's that go when you're in another part of the country and there isn't a Honda dealer? Or you're in another part of the world? You know, I don't get that. But that's Honda Australia for you. To be honest, this entire thing has kind of really kind of turned me off a little bit. I mean, I'm a Honda fanboy, have been basically my entire life. You know, I had a little XR80 or whatever it was, dirt bike on the property when I was a kid. My first road bike that I had was a Honda NSR 150 SP, and you can see what they look like in my video from the Rise of the Phoenix Season 1 at the Motorcycle Museum. So check that out. If I remember, I'll put a link to it up above. So that was my first road bike, and that was when I lived in Southeast Asia, and I was a skinny little twink, and that basically, that wind's just, I've got to lean the bike over to deal with it. So like that was my first road bike, and then I went off to the UK, Southeast Asia. Didn't have a bike there. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because I would have had so much fun with a motorbike in the UK. Not in winter. In winter my four-wheel drive was perfect, thank you very much. But then when I came back to Australia, I was living in Alice Springs. Fuel costs were really expensive, and I lived 15 kilometres out of town, so that's a 30-kilometre round trip every day. And in my four-wheel drive, when we were paying $2 plus a litre, and we're talking, this is like 8 years ago, $2 plus a litre in Alice Springs for unleaded. Fuel costs were really high, and as such I bought a bike again, and wasn't quite the skinny little twink that I used to be, but I got a CBR 250R Morawaki Special Edition. So it was blue and gold coloured. Oh, wow. You can just see how much I had the bike leaned over then. Morawaki Special Edition, so that had a Special Edition exhaust on it. special edition paint job, all that sort of stuff. And it was the only one in Alice Springs, because there was only 2 of them brought into the Northern Territory or into Alice Springs, and the person who bought the first one moved out of the area, so I had the only one. And that was just a little 250, and that buzzed around just fine for me to do what I wanted, and I could get out on the few roads that had bends in them and have some fun with it, and it was really good fun. And then I moved back over onto the east coast of Australia, and I still had the 250 for a while, riding in and out of Grafton to work, and up through the mountains and so on, and that was good fun. But I decided I wanted something a bit bigger and a bit more off-road orientated, a bit more adventure orientated. So I bought the Honda CB500X, and I bought that brand new. In fact, so was the CBR. The NSR wasn't new, and my XR80 or whatever it was wasn't new either. But the CBR and then the CB500X were both new. 80 again. I had the CB500X right through until 2019, and I'd put 56,000 kilometres on it, and that was still going really strong. I mean, I would have had no problems whatever putting another 150,000 kilometres on it. Absolutely loved it. It was a great bike. Yes, I wanted something bigger. Yes, I was looking at another bike, but no, I couldn't afford it, so it didn't happen. And then, unfortunately, in November 2019, when the bushfires came along, I lost that bike, along with everything else I owned, but you know. Unfortunately, out of all of the things that I had, that was the only thing that was insured because, long story. But thankfully, I managed to get another bike after the fires, and I got the NC750X because I thought, well, it's a little bit more power, a little bit bigger, you know, and still looks just as cool. But unfortunately, it got crushed by a runaway car, so it was gone, and then we end up with the CRF 1100L, the Africa Twin. I mean, look, I've had a few bikes now, but all my bikes have been Honda. Love my Hondas, but I've never, ever, ever seen anything like Honda for warranty service work. It's complicated, and to be honest, really, really shit. And that I don't like at all. If I can provide all the evidence that shows what's wrong with the bike, why do I have to go to a Honda dealer and then be stationary there for several weeks while they order the parts, get the parts, or while they assess the bike first, and then they get a warranty claim going with Honda Australia, and then they order the parts once the warranty claim has been approved, and then the parts get shipped to them. Thankfully, they're only being shipped out of Melbourne, so it shouldn't be too bad. And if it's going to take more than a couple of days, I'll say to them, I'll ride to Melbourne and pick it up. I'll be there in a day, or there and back in a day. But then once the parts arrive, they'll book you into the workshop to do the work, change the screen.